also keep you connected on the go with ease. Sign up at a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Cool. Energize your goals with Lucozade. Get it cool. Look under the cap. Find the code. Win it. Thousands in prizes. iPhones and TVs. Or win 30 grand US dollars for your goals. That's goals.
For a chance to win 30,000 US dollars. Purchase any Lucozade Energy promo bottle. Look under the cap and find the code to win. iPhones, TVs, and free Lucozade for 30,000 US dollars to energize your goals. See website, social media, or press for details. Lucozade, taste the energy.
Gift for Dad's birthday? Click. Ooh, Janice's retirement party? Click. Outfit for my girl's wedding? Click.
With TDC Airbox, you click, we ship. Register for your free U.S. mailbox today and shop all your favorite stores online. Enjoy the convenience. Free consolidation up to £10. Competitive rates. Free package tracking account with live notifications. Free delivery and, of course, excellent customer service. Visit our website at tdcairbox.com and register today. For more information, visit our offices at the C.A. Paul Industrial Site in St. Kitts and Penny's Industrial Site in Nevis. Follow us on social media at TDC Airbox. TDC Airbox. You click, we ship. Terms and conditions apply.
It's another beautiful Friday morning here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and you're listening to Voices on 1FM 98.9. Good morning to all my people. Good morning to all of you who have tuned in from home and abroad. Of course, those of you who join us week after week via social media, those on Facebook and YouTube and the other social media platforms. Good morning, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of Voices. Today is indeed a beautiful day. It is Friday, May 7th, 2021, and you're listening to Voices on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. It is 40 minutes past, so let me apologize for the late start. Nevertheless, we are ready to begin. Now, for today's edition of Voices, is going to be an open ear, and so there is no specific topic that we will be focusing on today. However, you will be given the opportunity, as this is Voices, it is a time for you to share your views and opinions on issues that affect the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and an issue that you would want to bring to light. And so, for those of you who are interested in calling in, the numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662, and we will begin entertaining your calls right now until we end at 12 for the headline news, and we'll be back at 12:30 for the second segment of Voices. But again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for being a part of our program week after week. We also have our WhatsApp number, which is 662-2204. You can send us a text, and we can read it or play it. But again, thank you guys so much. The numbers to call again are 466-0989-762 and 662. The phone lines are open. The hot topic now is vaccines, vaccination, COVID-19, and that is the topic every day across the globe, where you continue to hear about COVID-19 and vaccination in every conversation that you have. Sometimes at the end of the conversation, somebody would ask you, have you taken the vaccine? Just a while ago, I was talking to a colleague, and at the end of that conversation, it was, have you taken the vaccine? And so it is becoming part of our vocabulary. It's becoming part of our language, where the words such as normalcy, stay safe, vaccination, COVID-19. It is becoming a part of our vocabulary. Countries all across the globe are racing to reach herd immunity. As health experts have said, the governments have said that this is the only way for us to get back on the right track. Of course, things will not be 100% normal, but it is the road, as they have said, it is the road and the pathway to recovery. And so, this is what is happening in and around the world, where people have been taking advantage of these free doses of the vaccine, while others have said they will not be taking the vaccine. That is their personal choice. We're going to take a short break to say thank you to our sponsors, and when we return, the phone lines will be open. Call us today and let us have a conversation here on Voices on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Stay tuned.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drug Store's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drug Store's curbside pickup service.
Flow Broadband and TV is packed with even more value, as you get a free Samsung tablet, free installation, and 50% off your bill for 3 months when you sign up now. Yes, a free Samsung tablet. Power all you do at home with up to 100 megabits per second super fast broadband. Plus, stay HD entertained with Flow TV. Stream, share, and do more on your new free tablet, which will also keep you connected on the go with ease. Sign up at a Flow store today. Conditions apply. Welcome back to Voices on 1FM 98.9. We have a call on the line. We have a caller. Caller, good morning. You're live on Voices.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'll make you sound like an old man, eh?
Mr. Cornelius is fine.
You know what I mean? When you were small, and anybody say, Madam, you say, Madam got big foot.
Mm-hmm.
So, now let me start first by, I just trying to eat some tamarind. Anyone of you out there with sweet tamarind, I am available to buy and to get free. I love to eat tamarind, eh?
That's nice.
Yeah, let me start by sending belated birthday greetings to my daughter, Carol, in Barbados, who says she likes to listen. So if you're listening, Carol, happy belated birthday. Now, you know, in St. Kitts, sometimes I get a bit frustrated with our people. Why, you may ask? People who have no moral authority to address certain issues are usually at the forefront of those issues. Now, you know how confusing that is to other people. It makes you wonder if everybody think that everybody is stupid, or if all of us have dementia or amnesia. You hear them on the radios every day who don't want integrity in public life, never want it for themselves. Actually opposed it. People talking about the land and who give a land and the St. Kitts Friggy Bay Golf Course, which was built by Mr. Southwell, given to Marriott, not a word of them out, you know. And you go through and you hear different ones talking about corruption, and everybody know they're corrupt. I have said already, said again, we need people of integrity to be addressing issues, otherwise nothing can change in this country. Nothing is going to change. I always tell my children, if you want to go somewhere, you watch what you do. If you don't intend to do anything, do as you like. Last night, there was a discussion on another radio station hosted by Nitel, in which the first vice president of the St. Kitts Nevis Trades and Labor Union was the guest. And another person there was a labor department officer. I don't know if he worked there still or what. And they were looking at the survivability, the long-term survival of the union and its present condition, and reasons as to why a union that once had over 4,000 members in the 60s, almost dormant.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that it's to that point?
Why?
Yeah.
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Now, I had called in, and now I think the host had spoken about the connection of the union to the Labour Party and the significance of it. Actually, the effect or the backlash of it in terms of the colors, even this year when they had Labor Day. I never heard one person from the union speak out. They were going from grave to grave to grave to grave. And Dr. Denzel Douglas, who is not the president. Now, you may not know, in the early years, the leader of the party was also the leader of the union. Have you heard that?
That's interesting to note.
Yeah, Mr. Bracha was the president of the union and the head of the party. Mr. Southwell was the same until Limor, who tried to oust him, split it and took away one of Mr. Southwell's positions. But the party has still maintained a stranglehold on the union. And with St. Kitts being so tribal, because this is what it boils down to, you know, 'cause in other countries, you could be affiliated with a party, right?
Right.
But still exert some independence, which the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Trades and Union have failed to do. And the first vice president, when it was put to him that maybe one of the reasons for the almost demise of the union was his affiliation, said, well, they will never disassociate themselves from the union, from the party. When St. Kitts is so tribal, and not only that, many of the officers, and I could call the name, but I'm not going to call the name on your station, because he asked me and I was challenging him, are very active agitators, whatever, for the party. Now, how do you expect to attract people to a party that is attacking you personally and your political party? People don't seem to get the importance.
Mm-hmm.
What is the role of the union? And who should have the say? Have you ever seen a Labor Day march in St. Kitts? Devon?
If I've ever seen a Labor Day march?
Yeah, march on Labor Day.
Well, I've seen a few marches before by the Labour Party, but I've never seen a march from the Labour Union.
That's what I'm telling you. Now, let me tell you, I all know. When I was growing up, I tell Mr. Bracha and Southwell, right? It was the union and they had banners. If you were in the manufacturing sector, right, you line up behind that one. If you were in the private in commerce, you line up behind that one, so that the people were organized according to the sector of the economy in which they work. If you were in the agriculture sector, that is how they march. Come Limor, well, on the Dr. Lugger said to mash up. All 8 shot, all this, all that, and they are on the mic, on the loudspeaker during the march, cursing the opposition. The union leaders are put behind the political leaders. That's how they march. Well, one of them tell me they stop march, because it didn't make any sense. They go up to the old grammar school pasture. And of course, the party leader makes his speech and his pronouncement. And the president of the union has nothing to say on a Labor Day. Now, if you're serious about the survival of the union or the revival of it, because the country needs a union, eh? The country needs trade unions. They need them. But if you, as a party supporter, allow the union to be subjugated, then you're contributing to the death of it. Now, in 1995, just to show you how the party does take over the union, you had Clifford Thomas and others, Walford. Clifford was made, the head of the union, was made the commissioner of labor in the labor department. So they were taken from the union, the top, Walford was made, what do they call this? It will come to me. All of them were given big government jobs so they could earn money, and then they left the union to people to try to catch up. So they're not interested. And then for him, as a young man, to say, oh, well, we're not going to change. We're not going. Well, he did. And it's a shame. You're going to tell me 20 years you in power, a Labour Party, and under your leadership, the party gone from bad to worse. And he said, oh, the party ain't got no money. The union ain't got no money. The union was started in 1940, In 1940, and they had what was called closed shop. You know how closed shop go? Mm-hmm. Once you're working, you have to pay. But you are not considered a member unless you actually join. So they were there raking in all the money until in the 80s, when the government passed the law that companies must not withdraw money without the person written permission. And of course, as expected, many who were under duress, because people were paying under duress, not getting anything, and the people in the party, or in Keynes, his name was called, used to actively put people off the job, used to take a machete from people, you know what I mean? So that they built up an antagonism among certain sectors of the economy against them. Mm-hmm. And now what has happened? Our workers are left exposed. Mm-hmm. Other unions, he was saying, we are here to support other unions. When, what he named, Astafan, and they were trying to start a union. Mm-hmm. Did they support them? No. When the teachers' union called the strike or the protest up at Basti High School, it was the Labour Party who was condemning, abusing, accusing. They never offered one support for that union. All right then.
But before you
before
you go, I wanted to ask you a question. Considering that you have now argued the case that the union, the labor union is basically no more. That is what you're saying.
Well, it's registered and it's there. But when you compare something, right, from what it was to what it is in the 22nd century, 21st century.
So you're of the opinion that the labor union has weakened and has lost its strength?
Yeah, because you see, I'll tell you one of the problems, and it happens since with Mr. Bradshaw, I'll tell you how. When the government took over the sugar industry, remember that the union was quite aggressive and agitative, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the sugar industry was owned by planters, so that there was somebody to defend the workers against. You now find yourself, you nationalize the sugar industry. So you are now the major employer. And the union is a part of your party. Where the workers go? Where the workers get rights? You see the dilemma they create?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, they should have allowed the union to be independent.
Right, and I understand what you're saying. But with that being said, you mean of the opinion that the labor union has weakened. With that being said, what would you suggest that the labor union or the members within that union try to
like
regain strength within the union?
Ones, right?
Huh?
You can be independent. Independent means you all your officers and so who usually stand up on Master's House landing and in the street cussing people done with it. You have to be more friendly because remember, on the workplace, your boss ain't, most boss ain't care if you're palm or labor, you know. You want the work done. But once the employer know you're divided, he manipulates you. And then again, with you see the foreign direct investment, hotels and so that came in, under them, they were given the right not to have union on their premises. Now, if the union was independent, they could have protested against it, say, look, all the workers in Marriott, we all want them, Four Seasons, whatever, have the right. But if the contract they given, written or spoken, was that you can come and work, and our workers will not be unionized, so they're not going to be able to strike against you, shut it down. Some workers attempted, they went to work and they were given their eviction, called it eviction notice. And our own policemen were put there to put them off the premises by a labor government. And what did the union do? Nothing. So time and time again, up at the port, where the government changed, I think it's about 300 persons were made redundant. They say redundant, right? And no sooner had they put who they thought were palm to the gate, they increased, they hired more than the 300 that they let off. Where was the union? Because you don't have to always wait until they're your members. You get potential members, even if you stand up for somebody who's not a member. You aware of that? And even the thing about, we just talk about severance pay. Where the union? Have you heard any union? No, serious. Have you heard any?
I recently heard the union. I saw a statement from the union with regards to vaccination, claiming that businesses in St. Kitts and Nevis are forcing employees to take the vaccine. I remember seeing a statement from the labor union. However,
that's a political statement.
I've not seen anything else.
That's a political, because as you say, workers were laid off. Did you hear them? Did they speak up for the workers? I mean, I told this gentleman, I said, Mr. Man, I did labor economics. I studied in university. In other countries, unions do the retooling and the retraining, Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Yes. So all right now, so they could have been running things to train the people, teach them new skills, because some of the jobs may disappear.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, thank you so
They're
much
sitting
for
down
your...
here waiting for some Jews. You know, education, unions they used to give scholarship, I think Mr. Douglas, he got one. What his name? Sir Tobin Innis. You talk way back, right?
Mm-hmm.
The union used to give scholarships to go UE or to study law, whatever. They're sitting down there and all they're doing is making sure that the Labour Party stay in power. That's it. And they need to do better. And I don't understand why people don't just vote them out. They have conference, and then you hear who, this one on the executive and that one. Next thing you know, they're on the board, going on the bank board, on the Social Security, all kind of board to collect money. That is why, you see, when you have a steady, a sure source of income, there's less effort. Once the government in 20 years, they all had a sure source of income. So they could afford to let the union slide because they pay sure. Because whatever they don't get from the union, they get from some board, some on two board, whatever board. You know, so I think they need to, that set, you know, the young fellow who was there, but he died. Fidel, you know, of Leati, Joseph.
No.
He died lately. He came in and was the president. And he had good plans, modern plans, you know what I mean? They put back in party hacks. Party hacks. How they expect our people to get representation? They're saying, come and join. How you going to join and they'll be on the sidewalk cussing people? They need to think again. All right then.
Thank you so much for your contribution. We are still taking your calls here on 1FM 98.9. This is Voices. The numbers to call are 466-0989, 762 and 662. It is 11:38, so we are still taking your calls, and we'll end at 12 for the headline news, and we will be back at 12:30 for the second half of Voices. Have a caller? We have a caller on the line. Caller, good morning. You are live on Voices.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Good morning.
You know, for the first time, I'm going to give my name, well, a name for the social media. Call me Journey from today.
Journey?
Good morning to Mrs. Henry. And I want to say to Miss Henry, if she's a Christian, she needs to be considerate and consider other people who are trying to get in. Now, Mr. Cornelius, you know, my issue is about race and all mix of things that are happening. Now, I just want to say, right, that we as a race of people, we are so used to being on the losing side of every conspiracy. We are no longer surprised to see other institutions, religion, organizations make exploiting us their reason for existence. And why I say this, looking back at history and everything that has happened to us as a people, we need to wake up and recognize what is happening. You can tie things into the pandemic, the vaccine, and all that is happening right now. But we need to get serious. There's and I don't want to sound like an echo, but there's a biological warfare that is happening, and it's global. Now, let me say this. 1990, I was house sitting in a house in Frigate Bay for an American, and, you know, one day we was in the pool, and after we got out, we were sitting on the deck, and the gentleman asked me, this is a white American, he asked me if I know why the sole of my foot is a different color as to the rest of my body. I didn't know then, but I know now. So, to the responders out there who are listening and hearing my voice, I want to say this. When the serpent beguiled Eve, as is written in the book, after the Lord came down and asked, you know, they said to the Lord, we heard your voice and we hid because we thought we were naked. the Lord said, "Who told you were naked?" If you know the story, judgment was passed there on the woman and on the serpent. And he said, "I shall put enmity between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent." The Bible gives us a word that says, the serpent beguiled the woman. You know, I said my name is Journey because I have taken a step, because my appetite is now open for the knowledge of what was given to us by them, and by them I mean the race who brought what they brought to us, and they gave us their narrative, and we take it hook, line, and sinker. Now, there are things in the Bible that need question. There are those who would say, "Oh, you don't question God, you don't do that." Well, how do you explain that they gave us a book that says, "Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill," and all they've been doing is stealing from us, hating us, and killing us? So, where do we go? We need to search ourselves, the inner soul that is inside of us, and know who we are, because there are things that are happening right now in our reality, and when you stop, look, and analyze all this, the Bible is our reality. We need to wake up as a people and come together. I've mentioned before that we need to call on the African Union and the UN and get firm, because the killing is not going to stop until we become one voice. A lot of us down here are saying, "Oh, we are not Africans," and I've mentioned this earlier in the week. We are the only race of people who are running away from who we are, because we are very diverse right now in the Caribbean, even here in Tinker. You know the different nationality that we have. The Indians are here, the Chinese are here. We have just about everybody. But they know where their culture is. They know where their, as we said, our neighbor string was buried. But we are the only race of people who are running away. Look at what is happening in Europe with from Libya. Africans fleeing to go to Europe, and the UN, they know this, and they don't care because they want them to get out. They don't care if they die in the ocean. They want to get in, and the Africans get out. So they don't care because they want the minerals. They want to continue exploiting us for their own existence. Thank you for taking my call.
And thank you so much, caller, for your contribution. Thank you so much for calling into our program. You are listening to Voices on 1FM 98.9. It is 11:44, and we are fastly approaching the 12 o'clock end time for the headline news. If you're listening and you're interested in calling, the numbers to call are 466-0989, 762 and 662. Call us and be a part of this program. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. If we have no callers on the line, we'll take a short break to say thank you. We have some callers on the line. Let us take these calls. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hello, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I would just start by saying life is a journey and an adventure at the same time. And throughout one time on earth, one learns different things if he opens his mind. Change comes by the renewing of the mind, what you put inside. You could have something happening to you all the time. Let's say going out of your house. You keep stumping your toe. You go back in, put on a plaster. You come back out, you keep stumping your toe. Somebody tells you, "Sir, you either change the direction you go out or remove what you're stumping your toe on." "Oh, no, it's okay, I'm going to continue." You keep stumping your toe. You realize what the problem is? Failure to change what is causing the problem. The other thing is, Russia, is it a white or a black nation?
Russia?
That's where I'm coming from. Huh?
You said Russia?
Yes, Russia. Is it a white country or a black nation? Black country.
That's a hard question.
What I'm saying, people like to talk about the white killing the black. Now in Africa, Boko Haram, are they white or are they black?
Repeat that, sorry.
Boko Haram, are they white or are they black?
Boko Haram?
Mm-hmm. In Africa, the Islamic thing. In the U.S., even here in St. Kitts and Nevis, I don't have to go no far, the so-called gangs we have here, is one of the gang white and one white? I mean, one black and one white?
Interesting point that you're bringing up.
The other thing is, Latin America, the Caribbean, or the Americas, let me just use the correct term, because all of us, whether we want to say Caribbean or not, we are actually Americans according to the geological location. Because the Asians, all of us over here are Americans. It's just that the United States, Canada, South America, they have the countries down there, they put the Caribbean over there, but all of us are Americans. You know that, right?
Right.
Good. Now, in this America, we have nations that are made up of white nations, the black nations, and the Indian nations, and so forth. Now, if you look at what happened, you're familiar with the term geopolitics, right?
Yes.
Good. Now, if you look around the world, tell me if you see anything about the entire white nations against the black, or the yellow, or the red, or you see individual countries that have identified themselves as a sovereign nation trying to pull geopolitical thing on the other. If you might have a hesitation in that, you do your research. If you're a young guy, you love your research. Do your research. China and Russia, they are at fault because of political, even economical, even systems of thinking. That's where the problem comes from. Now, I must say, there are a lot of distractions going around the world, taken away from the fact that is happening. Look, you see what's happening. Russia, which is a white nation, and the Americans, they can't get on. Remember, the Americans, the majority of them came from Europe, but you never hear them say they're European unless they just immediately come from there. But as long as they from since George Washington time, as far as they're concerned, we are Americans. That's it. You realize that, right?
Right.
Good. So I cannot understand why some people can't understand. Because Africa is a continent of many countries. The better thing to do is to find your roots by your DNA. And if you realize you're predominantly from Nigeria, Kenya, even Egypt or whatever, Morocco, because all of those are African nations, then you could say you're from one of those countries.
Well, I think the argument is that we are generally from the continent of Africa, but I understand the point that you're bringing across.
No, even in Europe, they're trying to fight to have a European state, so to speak, and a lot of countries are against it because the identity of the individual thing gonna go. Remember, they are all white. So I'm just saying, sometimes yes, we sound passionate about something, but sometimes when you have the information to prove, hey, hold up, I know you're passionate, but what you're saying does not necessarily appear to be true. Now, there are a lot of words going around now about my truth and your truth, but there's one truth. The end of the day, my friend, I believe you went to Sunday school or went to church of your parents and grandparents who might have sent you, and they went. At the end of the day, if what certain persons are saying about the Bible is a white man thing, like I said before, if we don't be careful, we can prove as the white man, I think was a professor who claimed white people are more intelligent than black people, but it's not true. Because the same Bible says all men are created equal. You must born and you must die. Nobody ever disproved that before. And at the end of the day, you come from dirt, you go back to dirt. The spirit goes back where you come from. And I'm sure even the plants, even animals, if you don't believe me, let it die and leave it at one spot. When you go back, what do you mean? Dirt, right?
Right.
If that white man is correct, and what a lot of people are saying about the white man Bible, they're proving that man right when the man is wrong. There's a difference between somebody writing something I could tell you, come here, Cornelius. I want you to write this thing for me, and I dictate what I want you to write. Is it your actual thinking, or are you just put into writing what I ask you to do? Compared to when you yourself get up and write a book as opposed to I dictate the book to you. Who is actually the author of that book? The person who actually wrote it or the person who dictated it? Compared to the one who actually came up with the thought and wrote the book. Give it to scenarios. Okay, maybe you could think about it later. The other thing as well, there's an original book. You write a book, and I decide, okay, I don't really understand it because your language is English, mine is Chinese, and I translate it into Chinese. Am I who translate the book in Chinese is the author of the book, or just translate the book? Which one?
Is the person who actually did the book?
That's what I'm saying. So people, that's where the confusion comes in. And there's a liar going around, and the Bible says the devil is the liar. He's the father of lies. However, the Bible speaks about in the last days, itching ears, and the least people going to run with it. It speaks about in the last days, there's going to be earthquakes and all kind of things in diverse places. We have them now. We get frightened. So we better look up to God. And it's the same Bible. Even what is going on about the conflict all the time, because in Africa, how many Sudan break up because was one part of Sudan white and one part black? No, same thing. Black and black. Look even in some other white nation with Russia and what is the country name? Georgia. Those are all of them white nations, and the next one now. One that's circling there, man, I'm going to slip in there. But these are white nations, and all they're fighting for is power. At the end of the day, powerful and the rich will always want to take advantage of the lesser one. And that is what is happening in our world. Even right here in St. Kitts and Nevis, I'm sure you might attest to that. I'm not sure if you might have personally experienced it, but you might have heard of a friend who talked about it. They are here. It has nothing to do with the color of the skin. I'm going to leave it there, my friend. Even up with India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan were one country, one time, but different religious beliefs. You know that, right? You know that, my friend?
Yes.
Right. Even Bangladesh, all of them were part of India. But because of differences, they split apart. And after they split apart, they're trying to identify themselves as their own country. My friend, I am from St. Kitts and Nevis, and who don't want to be here, I support you to go. But you know what the sad thing is? People don't want to be here who born here, who supposed to be here. And persons who not come here, willing to come here, doing everything to come here and claiming our things. Then if we so believe we do not belong here, why make noise? Whether it's the Chinese, the same white man, the Indians, come and buy the land and buy it. Why are you making noise? Not make noise, because you say here do not belong to you. You catch my point, my friend?
Yes.
A bird in the hand worth two in the bush. We have our land. Let's treasure it. Because you know what? You're not even sure if you go to Africa, whichever country you're going to choose in Africa, if you will be open with friendly arms and get what you want. We're here now. Let's live for here now. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go just now, my friend. I'm not going to take up too much long. Those of us who believe in Jesus Christ continue to believe in Jesus Christ because the scripture says they're going to come when no longer who going to be just, they're going to be said just, and who going to be unjust, going to be unjust. The Bible, they've been trying to destroy it for so many years. I'm sure you could do your research and you will realize this singular book that everybody tried to destroy, even Russia. And if you look right now, what is happening throughout the world, even here in St. Kitts and Nevis, try to say you're a Christian or something. Try to say you believe in God. Persecution. The Bible says in the last days these things are going to come. And if that Bible was written by a white man, then the white man is a wise man. Because nobody ever disproved what is written there. And we should walk away from that. Those who believe in Jesus Christ, you should walk away from that kind of thinking. Not because you're black and you're a black man saying it. You could go down the wrong road, believing because you recognize and identify with somebody because of color of skin, because of where you're from. before you tell the person if you're wrong. I don't know if you ever heard this before, going to go. We used to hear this all the time. If somebody is really your friend, they're going to tell you right in front of your face, you're wrong when you're wrong and you're right when you're right. You fail to tell yourself, and that person is not your friend.
Right. Thank
You ever
you,
heard that before?
caller. Yes.
Okay, you have a blessed day.
Thank you
and
so
let us
much.
think of these things because the Bible also speaks about in the last day the sun is going to get 10 times hot. They're talking about climate change. It didn't say how it's going to come. But you realize what happened? Nobody could stop it. You realize that?
Yes.
Nobody could stop it. So, those of you who believe in Jesus Christ, read the scripture, especially Revelation and Daniel, and tell me if what is happening now, if the Bible didn't say it. And if we believe that that Bible is written by a white man for white people, then those people are really wise and have prophecy on their side.
Right.
If they are wrong.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Yes, man. Have a blessed one.
You too. You're listening to Voices on 1FM 98.9. We're at the 12 o'clock end time, so we'll take a break now for our headline news, and we will be back at 12:30. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be a part of our program. I was your host for the first segment, Devon Cornelius. Until this afternoon, stay tuned.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and Development Bank.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet.
Decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Everyone struggles at times. Even we too have our own struggles. Do you have a loan at the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis and have fallen behind on your payments because of financial difficulties? Have your financial situation changed? If your answer is yes, visit the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis or call 465-2288, extension 1101 or 469-5416 to make an appointment to discuss our debt evaluation and restructuring plan with one of our qualified officers. We are committed to working with you to make a sustained positive difference in your life.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
With the WIN headline news, I am Kevon Brown.
And I'm Devon Cornelius.
Making the headlines, the road to herd immunity. St. Kitts and Nevis undergoes efforts to bolster tourism sector.
NRP's Dr. Bartlett to challenge Premier Brantley in Nevis 2 for upcoming elections.
Happy International Teachers Appreciation Week. Now, the details. Ahead of the expected phased restart of cruise tourism come July 2021, which was announced in April, notable changes have occurred to the existing COVID-19 protocols only applicable to the fully vaccinated. Fully vaccinated individuals would only quarantine for 9 days in St. Kitts and Nevis as of May 1st. Additionally, spectator sports reclaim their spectators once fully vaccinated effective May 20th. Fully vaccinated travelers to the Federation who submit a negative RT-PCR COVID-19 test can now pay reduced quarantine costs if staying at the Ocean Terrace Inn. Abdias Samuel, chairman of the National COVID-19 Task Force, said that the overall cost was adjusted to reflect the reduced time frame.
Persons who are within the 9-day category for quarantine at the OTI, again I repeat, at the Ocean Terrace Inn, will now pay $320 for the duration of the 9-day stay. Again, I advise persons going to the Ocean Terrace Inn, that's the OTI in quarantine facility, they will now pay $320 for the 9 days of quarantine.
He said at the National Emergency Operations Center COVID-19 briefing on Wednesday, May 5th. It equates to about US $35 per day. For travelers not vaccinated, existing protocols still apply even when mixing with those who are vaccinated. Travelers quarantined at OTI paid US $500 for the 14 days, which equated to roughly US $36 a night. The government has been promoting the full restart of the tourism sector, especially cruise tourism, as an incentive for taking the vaccine. Most recently, the St. Christopher Air and Seaport Authority joined other organizations in the Federation that required employees to vaccinate or conduct an RT-PCR test every 2 weeks at the cost of the employee from June 1st. The requirement includes all companies, organizations, and stakeholders with staff providing services to the various ports, airline staff, vendors, etc. While these requirements from private and public business continue, Minister with responsibility for tourism, Lindsey Grant, has had interviews with U.S.-based media houses to help sell the territory. Most recently, Grant made appearances on WSB-TV Atlanta and WSVN-TV Miami. The segment on WSB-TV was in partnership with the media house to generate support for the non-stop Delta flights that are expected to begin June 5th. On WSVN-TV Miami, he spoke about the ongoing 5-day getaway promotion with the Park Hyatt St. Kitts Marriott, and Four Seasons Resort Nevis. The official reopening of the cruise sector is projected for October 2021, the expected full reopening of the borders. By that time, officials are expecting St. Kitts and Nevis to achieve herd immunity. As of Thursday, May 6th, 13,558 doses have been administered, with 277 of them being second doses. The goal for herd immunity is 33,037.
The largest parliamentary seat in the Nevis Island Assembly, with more than 4,000 registered voters, will see retired civil servant and veterinarian Dr. Patricia Bartlett of the Nevis Reformation Party (NRP) and the Premier of Nevis Mark Brantley of the Concerned Citizens Movement (CCM) battle it out in the upcoming 2022 elections. Dr. Bartlett, who was recently named as the opposition NRP's new candidate for Nevis 2 St. John's Parish, will vie for the seat, which has been held by Brantley locally since 2013, when he defeated Hensley Daniel by more than 200 votes, and again in 2017 by a 334 vote margin. In early April, media personality J.D. Keynes was officially launched as the NRP's new candidate for Charlestown, a seat the party lost by a mere 11-vote margin in 2017. Wayne understands that former educator and sports commentator Rohan Isles will be launched as the party's new candidate for Gingerland to go up against the incumbent Eric Evelyn, and the party's political leader Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge will challenge Alexis Jeffers in the St. James constituency. The NRP is still holding on to its stronghold, St. Thomas's Parish, with the Honourable Cleon Stapleton Simmons as the parliamentary representative, outstaying the CCM's Keith Scarborough in the 2020 by-election by a 323-vote margin. The 50-year-old political party, which led the Nevis Island administration from 1983 to 1992 and again from 2006 to 2013, lost to the CCM in the 2017 local elections.
May 2nd to 8 is Teachers Appreciation Week for 2021, and through the COVID-19 pandemic, many have seen the commitment and innovativeness of teachers going above and beyond for their students, all in an attempt to continue their mandate as educators. Quote, "The whole world has had to adjust to learning outside the classroom across distributed modalities by transitioning lesson plans, teaching materials, and student assessments to, in some cases, strictly an online resource. All this while dealing with the requirements of an unchartered space with student attendance and motivation being high on the list of demands," reads a statement from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States to mark the occasion of Teachers Appreciation Week among its member states. The statement expressed gratitude to teachers, saying, "Thank you to our teachers who serve on the front line of the education system. Thank you to the teachers of the OECS for keeping our children safe, keeping them engaged and learning, and for reaching out to students and their families, urging them to show up," end quote, calling the efforts of teachers an inspiration and emphasizing the inventiveness of teachers across the OECS region.
In regional news,
I'm Gordon Mosley. Former President David Granger has filed a more than $2 billion lawsuit against public communications consultant Christopher Kit Nascimento, the Stabroek News, the Kaieteur News, and the Guyana Times newspapers. The lawsuit is in response to statements that were contained in various letters written by Mr. Nascimento and published in the 3 newspapers last year, just after the elections. Through his attorney, Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford, the former president is contending that the published letters, which were written by Kit Nascimento, contained statements that were libelous against him and which sought to impugn his character. The letters were written and published over a period of time and attacked Mr. Granger's handling of the issues surrounding the 2020 elections and the aftermath. Granger was president at the time. Among the reliefs being sought are a retraction and apology, a number of injunctions against the republishing of the letters or repeating the statements made in them, and the permanent removal of the offending letters from the online edition of the newspapers. In the lawsuit, Mr. Granger contends that the publication of the letters was intended to and calculated to affect him as a politician and a leader in the community and country, with a view of lowering him in the estimation of right-thinking persons in the news. He also points out in the claim that throughout the electoral process, he made it clear that he will abide by the declaration handed down on the elections by the chairman of the Elections Commission. And he did just that when the final declaration was made.
The alert level at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines La Soufrière volcano has been moved from red to orange. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, speaking on state radio on Thursday, said Cabinet made the decision a day earlier. The alert level was raised to red on April 8th when an evacuation order was given about 15 hours before the volcano erupted.
What that means, essentially, well, absolutely you can't go into the red zone unless you have permission by the state authorities. And all the orange zones, people can go and return. And we will publish this. But what we are saying that if you are in Chateaubelair, particularly the lower part of Chateaubelair and in Fitzhughes, that we do not want you to go back, and therefore we would prevent you from going back there, because we are doing the state, that is the police authorities, because we haven't finished the cleanup of all the ash which is there, and it doesn't make sense you going back with all the ash on the streets and so forth. All the way down to Fitzhughes, you have water is back, and electricity is back in those areas.
We now bring you these international reports.
At least 25 people were killed in a violent shootout in Rio de Janeiro on Thursday, in one of the state's deadliest police raids yet. TV images showed drug traffickers in the Jacarezinho neighborhood trying to escape, running across rooftops, as police arrived in armored vehicles and helicopters flew overhead. Forcing residents to shelter in their homes, the firefight was the deadliest police operation in Rio in over a decade. The state has long suffered from drug-related violence. Police said the victims included suspected members and leaders of the drug trafficking gang, which dominates life in the slum, as well as one police officer. Police said in addition to drug trafficking, the gang robbed trucks of cargo and held up commuter trains to steal from passengers. At a news conference on Thursday, police displayed an arsenal of seized weapons, including a machine gun, 6 assault rifles, and dozens of handguns and grenades. Human rights groups were quick to condemn Thursday's bloodbath. Amnesty International lambasted the police for the, quote, reprehensible and unjustifiable loss of life in an impoverished neighborhood mostly populated by black people. According to Human Rights Watch, Rio police have killed over 450 people in raids during the first 3 months of the year, and at least 4 police officers have died. That's despite a Supreme Court ruling prohibiting these operations during the pandemic, except in absolutely exceptional cases. Rights groups say that Rio's prosecutors have a constitutional obligation to oversee the police and have called for a thorough and independent investigation into the shootout.
The former president of the Maldives is in critical condition after being injured when a bomb went off outside his home. Doctors say Mohammed Nasheed has now undergone multiple surgeries. Victoria Gatenby reports.
Mohammed Nasheed had just left home and was about to get into his car when a bomb attached to a motorbike exploded. The former president was injured in the blast in the capital, Male. Nasheed, who's the current Speaker of Parliament, is being treated in hospital for shrapnel wounds. The president of the Maldives, Ibrahim Mohamed Solih, was seen leaving the hospital after visiting his friend and ally. In 2008, Nasheed became the first democratically elected president of the Maldives, but he was ousted in a coup in 2012, led by Abdullah Yameen. The Maldives suffered years of political turmoil under Yameen. He systematically silenced opposition voices, including Nasheed, who was convicted on terrorism charges. Human Rights Watch said during Yameen's presidency, criminal gangs and what it called religious extremists enjoyed political protection. Nasheed was granted asylum in the UK in 2016. 2 years later, Solih ran for president, promising change, and took 2/3 of the vote. An investigation is underway into the blast. No group has so far claimed responsibility.
It could be some type of political motivation, political rivalry. That's always a possibility. But there is a history, a modest history of Islamist militancy in Maldives. There have been several attacks over the last few years including one or two that have been claimed by the ISIS organization.
The Maldives is heavily dependent on tourism. Analysts say it's relatively stable compared to other countries in the region, and the hope is this is an isolated incident. But for some, the explosion on Thursday is a violent reminder of the chaos and uncertainty of the past in a country best known for its tranquil beaches. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
That was the Win FM Headline News. The Win FM Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery and Development Bank.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Everyone struggles at times. Even we too have our own struggles. Do you have a loan at the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis and have fallen behind on your payments because of financial difficulties? Have your financial situation changed? If your answer is yes, visit the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis or call 465-2288 extension 1101 or 469-5416 to make an appointment to discuss our debt evaluation and restructuring plan with one of our qualified officers. We are committed to working with you to make a sustained positive difference in your life.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International.
We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
everything's gotta go. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go. Clearance sale is happening now. All 2018, 2019, and 2020 models gotta go. Yes! Come to Horsford's Automotive and get $10,000 off select 2020 models. That's right. Horsford's Automotive is making room for 2021 by offering $10,000 off select 2020 models. And that's not all. Come now and get 0% down payment. No payment until May 2021. $500 in free groceries. Free servicing for 1 year. Free bill of sale. Free tinting. Free registration. Free accessories. And free licensing. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go clearance sale. The biggest clearance sale event of the year. Select 2020 vehicles priced to go. Everything gotta go. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
of loneliness before I knew what it was. I saw the pills on the table for your unrequited love. be nothing without you holding me up. Now I'm strong enough for both of us, both of us, both of us, both of us. I am a giant. Stand up on my shoulders. Tell me what you see. 'Cause I am a giant. We'll be breaking boulders underneath our feet. I am, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am the giant. Oh, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am the giant. Don't hide your emotions. You can throw down your guard and be.
Found the sound 98.9 Win FM.
Good afternoon, and welcome back to Voices on WinFM 98.9. I'm your host for this afternoon, Devon Cornelius. Good afternoon to all of you who have joined us via Radio Land. Of course, those of you at home and abroad, and those of you who have joined via social media. Good afternoon. It is a beautiful Friday. Today is the 7th day of May 2021. I'm happy to be alive. I'm not sure about you, but I'm definitely happy to be in the land of the living. Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to Voices on WinFM 98.9. So sorry for this morning. It was an open ear. You call and you raise an issue. This morning we had callers speaking about a number of topics that I thought were very, very interesting. And so I've decided to have this afternoon as well to be an open line where you can call and bring up a particular issue or matter that you deem necessary, and of course something that is affecting the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so early the phone lines are open. The numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. We also have the WhatsApp number, which is 662-2204. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your schedule to tune into Voices on WinFM 98.9. As I said, I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much. This morning, there was a comment, not a comment, but the topic of the labor union and the strength of the union, which I thought was a very interesting topic. As you're seeing now with the vaccination, where claims have surfaced that businesses and organizations across the Caribbean are insisting that their employees take the vaccine, and they're saying to the employees, well, if you don't take the vaccine, if you don't get vaccinated against COVID-19, you can't work here, or you are not entitled to compensation or promotion, rather. Recently, I came across an article in Jamaica where the Jamaica Constabulary Force is telling its members that in order for you to be on the training list or to receive additional training or to receive promotion, you must show proof that you have been vaccinated. And so, I mean, to be honest, we have to understand that, you know, this will be quite similar to the vaccinations that we saw in the past, where, for example, in order for you to participate in certain activities, or in order for you to have access to certain facilities, in order for you to travel to a particular country, you must show proof that you have been vaccinated against the coronavirus disease. And these are the steps that governments are taking across the region. However, the cops, the policemen, the lawmen, they spoke out against it because their argument was that, well, we worked hard over the past, some worked 10, 15, 20 years only to be told that they can't get their promotion in the service, they can't get their compensation, they can't get their extra pay in the service unless they show proof that they have been vaccinated. And so they are of the opinion that, well, all of that is out of the door. All the work that I did in the service, my time, my effort is basically not being appreciated or recognized. That is their opinion. And so these are some of the issues that we would want to touch on this afternoon. We have a caller on the line. Let us take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Cornelius.
Good afternoon.
Journey here again.
Yes.
To my responder, the gentleman who spoke about Boko Haram in Africa, I'm aware of what is happening with Boko Haram. But, you know, he outlined a mouthful. Boko Haram, we have to ask the question, who is behind Boko Haram? And, yeah, there's corruption in Africa, and it's on a very high scale. No. Corruption in Africa is pertaining to, let's say, $50 billion that, you know, let's say the leaders are corrupt with. But do we know what France is taking out of Africa annually? $500 billion is coming out of Africa just to France alone. That has nothing to do with Belgium. That has nothing to do with England. So yes, there's corruption, and Boko Haram is killing Africans. But who is behind Boko Haram? And I am not asking us to leave St. Kitts to go. What I'm saying is, let us support what is happening on our mother continent, where our people are being exploited by design. We have to come together as one voice, because we are just living out their narratives in every way, form, or shape. You see it? We are living out their narratives, and we need to change that. And the gentleman spoke about what is happening here. We have killing, we know, for the past 20 years and what's not. It is not in us to kill. We are not a killing people. So, yeah, we have work to do, and that's what I'm saying. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. And, I mean, Cornelius, he asked if you went to Sunday school. We all have gone to Sunday school. I mean, I am not going to say that I know the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, but I read. But there are things in the Bible that need question. Maybe he's a pastor. I don't know if he have a church. If you do, I would like to visit it to see if his church is one that, you know, take when Jesus himself said, freely receive, freely I give, freely receive, freely give, freely receive. You know? And Jesus also described a lot of these wealthy ministers, he called them hirelings. So yeah, I'm aware of what is in the Bible, you know? But I'm saying we are being exploited for the existence of another race. Plain and simple. Thank you for taking my call again.
And thank you so much for your contribution, as usual, caller. We are still taking your calls here on 1FM's Voices. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. We are still taking your calls. Remember, it is an open line, and so you can call and raise an issue that you're saying it is bothering you here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We have a call on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm giving thanks for life. And yourself?
Not bad at all, man.
Okay, good. I tuned in this morning, and I listened to Mrs. Kennedy's contributions on what basically labor union is in comparison to a political movement. And then I also listened to the last caller and another caller that called in, and it was of a different topic, nature, aside from Mrs. Kennedy's contribution. And I can agree with called your last caller after the lunch break, before the lunch break, about some things he said pertaining to how much persons have tried to destroy the Bible, and yet the Bible said remains supreme and undisputed. And I also can agree with other things that he said, biblical. But we all went to Sunday school, and we all grew up in a Judeo-Christian society. I said Judeo-Christian society because 66 books that is comprised of the versions are some of the versions that we have today, as opposed to how many other books they have what they call the apocryphal book. And so I can agree, even though it is English. And in another language, it would have lost some of its content. It's like you have an orange, and you would have poured that orange in a gallon or 2-gallon jar of water. Somewhere along the line, it would have been diluted. But it still retains some element of that alkalinic nutrient. And so I can agree with him. But we all went to Sunday school and we enjoyed the story of the children of Israel going down to Egypt. And I might add that we talk a lot about some atrocities that was done by our brothers. And yes, I agree. Atrocities was done by our brothers. That we were sold into slavery. They played a part in it. Maybe not on the higher echelon of it. It might be on the lower, albeit they played a part. But we throw water on Joseph's brothers, who sold him. What was the difference with his brothers selling him and the difference with our brothers selling us? It speaks volume because we find ourselves in captivity like Joseph. And yeah, we say, Moses was a champion. We get to, let my people go. But when I or another individually, not collectively, even though we love our family members and they would have a different mindset and they're not ready to, because I or someone else might say, have the sentiment for back home, like how the children of Israel had that same sentiment for back home. We are discouraged by our very own brothers. Well, it's no different. A lot of people were discouraging those guys from not going out. And because we are here and we are reading the story, this is our reality. The story reflects who we are. And the story speaks volume to us because we are going through it. So if I want to and have that sentiment about going back home, I don't see why anyone should have a feeling about it, because I'm not telling no individual to come with me, let's go. I always say I was born. Yes, and when I was born on what day? Other persons probably was born. But I wasn't conscious enough to say, well, why let's born on this day? So if I make a decision on once to repatriate, like this, reflecting the story with Egypt, it is not a big thing for persons to come across. Now let's get to the Bible. Because just like how they could not destroy the Bible, it's the same thing. They cannot destroy who wrote the Bible, the books of the Bible, which is us. And I say us. Who knows where my bloodline, and he spoke about bloodline, where my bloodline went back to. Maybe a griot, like the griots who would have remember 60 generations and recite every name of those generations accurately, not by reading on the scroll, but just reciting it from memory. And so, yes. But the Bible was written in Africa. And even some of the books that wasn't written in Africa, it was Africans that was sent as far as Asia Minor. Are you familiar with
I think it's a museum. It was a mosque in Istanbul, Turkey. I think it's Istanbul, Turkey. They call it the Grand Sophia. Sophia Hagia Sophia. We were the ones who were there because the neophytes was not qualified enough to speak of spiritual things. We were the one who was sent to the 7 churches in Asia, as the Revelation talk about, and all those established shrines. They come under different names today, but it's re-established it in the Vatican and Rome, where the big, humongous cathedral is, and in Mecca down there. It's re-established all those sites. So if we know who we are, we should feel who we are and want to impart it with others. We cannot keep these things to ourselves. We have to share it with our brothers and sisters. So that like the children of Israel coming out of there, one by one, by not saying collectively, oh, come with me or you go with me. Or, no. But when we echo these sentiments, my brothers and sisters, I love it to be. Because just like how the Bible could not be destroyed, it's the same way we cannot be destroyed. And we were taken from somewhere. More so than Joseph's brothers, because he was taken and then they went down. So they even went down on their own volition. But not us. We were foisted from someplace else. So we must continue to be comatose. We must continue to be comatose within our mindset. No. Our ancestors are calling us because we have to redeem our ancestors. They are waiting to be redeemed. And it's by us they would be redeemed by. Believe it or not. But I'm not in the belief system. It's something I know. It is within me and within all of us. It just has so much rubble. I like to use the metaphor of an onion. Peeling an onion is very teary. It brings water to your eye. And you just take out a layer or two and you will see who you are. Thanks for listening.
And thank you, callers, so much for your contribution. Do we have any more callers on the line? If we have no calls, we'll take a break to say thank you to our sponsors, and we will be back shortly. Stay tuned.
There is nothing like a mama's love. It's the Mama's Love Mother's Day 3-day weekend sale. Show Mama love this weekend at the Halswoods Building Center, St. Kitts, Nevis, and the Furniture and Appliances Showroom and Ashley Furniture Home Store on St. Kitts with 25% off store-wide. Yes, this Mother's Day weekend starting on Thursday, May 6th to Saturday, May 8th. Show Mama love and get 25% off store-wide at both Halswoods Building and Nevis Centers, as well as the Halswoods Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store on St. Kitts. Get 25% off this Mother's Day weekend as we show Mama love at the Halswoods Building and Nevis Centers and the Halswoods Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store on St. Kitts. Show Mama love this Mother's Day weekend, Thursday, May 6th to Saturday, May 8th at Halswoods. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
Everything's gotta go. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go. Clearance sale is happening now. All 2018, 2019, and 2020 models gotta go. Yes, come to Horsford's Automotive and get $10,000 off select 2020 models. That's right. Horsford's Automotive is making room for 2021 by offering $10,000 off select 2020 models. And that's not all. Come now and get 0% down payment. No payment until May 2021. $500 in free groceries, free servicing for 1 year, free bill of sale, free tinting, free registration, free accessories, and free licensing. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go clearance sale. The biggest clearance sale event of the year. Select 2020 vehicles, price to go. Everything gotta go. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Voices. We have a call on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Voices.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know, it seems that when we have discussions on the affairs of the country, right, on these talk shows, I mean, isn't it to have the situation improved? I would think that that is one of the main reasons. We look at issues, okay, and we talk about them with a view to effecting change for the better. I would think so, right?
I agree with you.
Of course.
Yes.
Well, then how could anyone who is well-intentioned and who is patriotic and who is Christian-minded would claim that some people do not have the moral authority to speak on issues? Well, I would ask, well, who gave that person or persons the moral authority to pronounce on anyone else's moral authority, right? To me, it's just an excuse to try to discredit and shut up opposition or contrary voice, right? To me, that's a nefarious intention. Okay, for it, basically what it's doing is advocating for the status quo to remain the same. Okay, and don't strive for improvement. Okay, it's tantamount to the others did it too kind of argument. Makes no sense, does not advance the ball. All it is an excuse for things to remain as they are. I mean, if Her Majesty's loyal opposition is not supposed to hold any sitting government feet to the fire, then who should? That's what oppositions are for.
Right.
And certainly, it's every citizen's constitutional right to not only have a contrary view, but to speak out when, where, and however they want.
Mm-hmm. And you know,
Okay?
it is important to have a strong opposition as well.
Absolutely, right? Even if it involves a change of heart, people change their mind all the time. Okay, it's their prerogative, right? And it's the issues that we are discussing, not the personalities bringing these issues to the table. You know the old saying, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's applicable here, right? Don't worry about the people, the personalities. Worry about the issues and what we're going to do, the ideas that we have to change things, right? Every citizen in this country has the moral authority to speak out on issues that affect them, okay? And if they want to see change, that's what they're going to have to do, right? And I said everybody, with no exception, right? Anyone who says otherwise is just making excuses and promoting an agenda of acceptance of the status quo. And that in itself is unacceptable. With regards to the union, it is unreasonable or unrealistic for anyone to suggest that the St. Kitts Nevis Trades and Labor Union should divorce itself from its roots, you know, its beginnings, and vice versa. Okay? And it is not necessarily, it's not necessarily a bad thing for that connection to remain. Okay? Certainly, some independence from the political directorate is needed. Okay? We can't assume that because their affiliates are in power that they're going to do what is in the best interest of the union. That would be a mistake. But there are certainly examples in the Caribbean, when you look at, for instance, at the Barbados Workers Union or the trade unions in the region, that maintain their traditional links with select labor parties. They maintain those links, but they know whose interests they are primarily there for. And so they maintain their militancy regardless of which government is in power. Okay? So it's not an either-or kind of thing, right? I agree that if they're totally independent, it would be better, right? But it is not necessary for them to be totally independent. And certainly, I mean, to just wash your hands for a political party who came up from the trade unions movement, to just wash your hands of it would it would be like a child disowning its mother. You know, it just wouldn't happen. I don't think it should happen either. Okay, but certainly there should be a distinct separation between who is the executive of the union and who is running for political office.
So,
and
but
certainly, the once the union is democratic and the membership itself choose those executives, well, I don't think they have anything to worry about. It's up to the membership to make sure that their interests are served. That is where the rubber hits the road.
But I wanted to ask you: would you disagree with the previous caller when they claimed that the union is basically no more, or that the union doesn't have the strength that it once had?
Absolutely. It does not have the strength that it once had. Okay? I wouldn't say it's no more, but it's almost to the point of token now. And that's unfortunate because, as we've seen in recent times, a Labour department does not and cannot look out for the interests of the workers. As a matter of fact, it depends so much on the person who is in charge of the Labour department. I have heard, for instance, when Mr. Amory was in charge of the Labour department, he sounded more like an employer looking after the interests of the employer rather than the employees. You know, so you cannot rely on a Labour department in those circumstances. The union has to be a very independent, very militant, very focused on the interests of the workers. You notice you don't see the employers' organizations falling apart. They stick together. You're talking about the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. They stick together like glue. Okay, they know exactly what their interests are, and nobody can basically divert them from that fact. Well, the workers need to do the same. Okay, the workers need an organization to look after their interests, because even though, generally speaking, the interests of the employers and the workers, it would be nice if they coincide. And obviously, we want the businesses to thrive and grow. But we know that is not always the case, right? I mean, their job is to maximize profits, okay? Whereas the workers are supposed to get as much benefits and those things as possible. So their interests may not necessarily coincide, okay? So they need to be separate, okay, and separate from the Labour Department as well. Okay, very often we like to say the Labour Department is an honest broker. One would argue if that is really the function of the Labour Department. Okay? I would think it's to look after the workers more so than the employers. The employers have lots of resources; they can look after themselves. But the poor workers, they normally get the terrible end of the stick. Just some thoughts.
Right. Thank you so much for your contribution. Right. The phone lines are still open, and we are still taking your calls. The numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. Call us and be a part of this discussion today. Very interesting conversation that we're having here. You're listening to Voices on 1FM 98.9. Do we have any callers on the line? We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Oh, good afternoon, Devon. How was your lunch?
Good afternoon. I didn't eat any lunches yet.
Well, you're not going to miss anything. A little fasting will bring down that belly. My. Gotta watch your guts. Anyway, that was me too, right?
Miss Henry, you're trying your shade, man.
No, it's a ghost. It's a ghost. You gotta watch it, you know, because you got to live long. You hear what they said? If you're obese or overweight and you get corona, you're going in. That is a reason to go and get the vaccine. If you know you're already at high risk. And you always hear what percentage of our population is obese. So you all better go and get a vaccine, man. Anyway, Sunday is Mother's Day. And I want to commend all the mothers who make the effort to lead their children in the right direction. Because child rearing is not easy, you know. Even when you're a Christian, you got a lot of praying to do. I have to pray morning, noon, and night for mine, I raised 3 children and 2 grandchildren, so I know raising children is not easy. But the onus is still on the mother, the auntie, whoever raising the child, to set a good example. This is where the concept of moral authority comes in. Because many parents run into that, you know. A child may hold its peace when it is small, but when they reach a teenager, they will let you to know. How you don't want me to do so and so, and you're doing it. You get the concept?
I understand. I'm following you.
Even in churches, some people may hold a peace, but once they know what's going on and you're up there preaching, but you must not have sex with a married, and the people know you're running around. The person has no moral authority to speak. That is the concept, Mr. McMahon. We have too many. You see what the Bible says? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. All his ways unstable. Double-minded, I mean just change mind, you know. You're here and you're there. You confuse people. Now the Catholic Church having a time of their life. While they are promoting the abortion, people coming back and saying, what about the abuse of the children? You see what I mean? It would have been easier for them because, abortion is not the best thing. In fact, you're killing a child. But you also ruin the lives of young people and other people when they're sexually molested. And this is where the concept of moral authority comes in.
So get to the point, because we have other callers who want to get in as well.
If you know your slate is not clean, why would you be out there promote, we want good governance and corruption, and everybody know your slate are corrupt, inconsistent, cheating, bribing. So I'm saying to all those who are speaking, get somebody else to speak for you. It will be more effective. If you know your slate dirty, sit down and clean it up. All right.
But question for you, Miss Henry. You said something that stood out there for a moment, or we seem to have lost it. But a question for you. You said treating and bribing. Are you suggesting that the slate are guilty of such? And can you provide some evidence to back up your claim? I await your response to my question. Nevertheless, we are still taking your calls. The numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. Call us today and be a part of our discussion. It is 4 minutes past the hour of 1 here in the studios of 1FM 98.9, and you are listening to Voices. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Do we have any callers on the line? We have no callers at this time. If we have no callers, let us say thank you to the sponsors, and we'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
There is nothing like a mama's love. It's the Mama's Love Mother's Day 3-day weekend sale. Show Mama love this weekend at the Halswoods Building Center, St. Kitts, Nevis, and the Furniture and Appliances Showroom and Ashley Furniture Home Store on St. Kitts with 25% off store-wide. Yes, this Mother's Day weekend starting on Thursday, May 6th to Saturday, May 8th. Show Mama love and get 25% off store-wide at both Halswoods Building and Nevis centers, as well as the Halswoods Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store on St. Kitts. Get 25% off this Mother's Day weekend as we show Mama love at the Halswoods Building and Nevis centers and the Halswoods Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store on St. Kitts. Show Mama love this Mother's Day weekend, Thursday, May 6th to Saturday, May 8th at Halswoods. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
Everything's gotta go. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go. Clearance sale is happening now. All 2018, 2019, and 2020 models gotta go. Yes, come to Horsford's Automotive and get $10,000 off select 2020 models. That's right. Horsford's Automotive is making room for 2021 by offering $10,000 off select 2020 models. And that's not all. Come now and get 0% down payment. No payment until May 2021. $500 in free groceries, free servicing for 1 year, free bill of sale, free tinting, free registration, free accessories, and free licensing. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go clearance sale. The biggest clearance sale event of the year. Select 2020 vehicles priced to go. Everything gotta go. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Welcome back to Voices. Good afternoon, caller. You are on the air. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yeah, Cornelius. Yeah, me here again, Journey. Let's go back to transatlantic slave trade. When that transatlantic slave, when we were brought here, and we were still under enslavement by our oppressors, we had, like, the elders who came with us, they knew what they had on the continent of Africa, where the community raised a child, and, everything that was embedded from the continent was brought down here. I mean, just looking back, I don't know how old you are, but I can look back at when, say, 1980, when most of the elder folks was around. We had that community bond where we sit down at the feet of the elders and they tell us stories. Now, are we to say culture change every day? Because, again, we are living out the narrative of our oppressors. Now, I am not telling anybody to just take what I'm saying. Just observe and look at what is happening. Because now the gentleman says that black are killing black, which is true. That cannot be denied. But look at how the killing been going on in America. And I raised earlier this week about the bill that was passed by the president to protect the Asian from hate crime. When our people have built and fought wars for America, look at the length of time it's been. I mean, Mrs. Henry mentioned about, yes, there have been people who are lobbying to have these things passed to protect black people. Where has we ever gotten that protection? So yes, let we analyze what is happening, because this is our reality. And this is what I'm saying. I'm not telling anybody to pack up and leave and go to Africa, but things are happening in Africa, And we know there are other forces that are behind certain exploitation, the killing of our own people on the continent. These things are happening, and we are closing our eyes to it. You know? So yeah, let we just be aware and come together as a body of people, because there's no way God, the demographic of Africa, with all its continent, God didn't intend for us to be poor. Yeah, we have broken away from what we had, and as it mentioned in the book of Deuteronomy, all these things, instead of we being the head, we are the tail, we are jaw. All these things we know. But let us fix it. Because the truth, even in the school curriculum, our truth has been hidden from us. Our story has been hidden from us. Thank you for hearing me.
And thank you for your call. Do we have any more callers on the line? We have no more callers. Caller, thank you so much for your contribution. We are still taking your calls. It is 11 minutes past the hour of 1, and we will wrap up our program at 1:30. And so if you want to call in, call us now at 466-0989-762 and 662. Call us and be a part of today's edition of Voices. A very interesting conversation that we're having. We have a caller on the line. Let us take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Me again, because I see some people drop asleep. Maybe their belly too full. You know when you eat heavy lunch, you get drowsy. You get righteous to say. Did you ask me a question?
Yes, I had a question for you. When you
What happened? I usually have to turn the radio off, you know?
Yes. So I figured you
time.
missed
What was
the
the
question. But my question was, when you earlier when you called, you spoke about cheating and bribery, and you suggested that you said Slate. Is it that you're suggesting that the Slate is guilty of cheating and bribery?
No. Slate, maybe I know about Slate, you see? You're born in phone and laptop.
So tell me what you
In
were
the old time
referring
days,
to.
right? You carried. Have you ever seen a slate that your grandmother, your mother might have written on?
Enlighten me.
Something like a stone thing, you see? It had a frame around it. In those days, you did not use exercise books until you reach up in maybe standard 5, those kind of high classes.
Right. So my direct question to you:
so
what did you mean? What did you mean when you say
come in.
You're coming? Okay, I'm listening to you.
So you do your work, whether you're spelling or whatever, the teacher mark them.
Mm-hmm.
Then when she's going to do maths, you have to clean the slate of all, whether you get them right or wrong, in order to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying.
I don't understand. I don't understand what you're saying.
Your slate is your character. That's what I mean.
I don't understand what you're. So, but you said treating and bribery. It seems
No,
as if
I said
it seems as if you accused someone of treating and bribery.
Politicians do it. I mean, someone. All of them do it. You got
Who?
to be honest.
Who did it?
All of them do it.
Who did it?
Who did it? Who
Yes.
do it?
Huh?
Or they didn't treat you?
I'm asking you a question, Miss Henry.
Well,
Who did
I
it?
got
You said
treated.
they're guilty of cheating and bribery. So I'm asking you
Yeah, they
who?
do it.
Who?
But which country you live in? Actually, Nevis was giving out packages. That's
I'm not
cheating.
asking you about Nevis. I'm asking you about the comment that you made.
That's what I said.
You said they're guilty of cheating and bribery. So I'm asking
all
you
of
who?
them again.
Who they are? I don't know who all of them be.
Well, you will learn as you go along. You will learn. Now, to the gentleman, my good African brother, I have said already, said again, you know. Africa doesn't want a crowd of people. I have said a lot of these graduates we have around here who can't get any work, send them out. You see how the Cubans send out their people? I have advocated it ever so long ago. Send them where they're needed. That's part of our diplomatic thing. Cuba have a lot of them, but Cuba can't accommodate them, you know. So Cuba has got to send them any which way in the world to produce them in mass. You can't absorb them. We talk about Haiti. I said it years ago, start to send all these young graduates, you know, and then write off their development bank loan. You go away for 2 years, you come back, you're debt free. You talk about Africa, we have certain skills, you know, because what Africa needs from the Caribbean is not people. They want skills and experience. That's what they want. They're not looking for people to come and drop sit down. So when we're talking we're going to Africa, you must say exactly what you intend to do when you get there. And another thing, before I go, we talk about war reparation. And I believe in reparation, eh? We deserve it. But how come nobody see the country we live in as part of our reparation? How come, you know, oh, we want to go. Who you going to leave the land for? Our mother, grandmother, slave, and work to build it up. And now you want to go leave it for who? Have you thought about it? You ever think about it?
No.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to leave Jamaica, we're going... Boko Haram, they don't want to address Boko Haram, you know. These are black Muslims. They don't want female to be educated. I mean, one lot of thing going up there, and oh, we go in Africa. Which part? The concept is good, but you must first develop a skill, something that you can contribute to Africa. I don't think sometimes we go along the line. Oh, we're going to see the motherland. You could go and come back. But if you're serious about helping Africa, you must develop something that you can contribute. It's like people abroad. Oh, I want to come home to the what? Say, they want more people unless you bring a skill. Unless you're able to invest without looking bodies. That is my concept. So I like the idea of Africa, but I am telling you, Africa is not looking for people. As one of them said, you know, they're going by the boatload. What we need to go and tell them, hello, Marcus Garvey said, here is our Garden of Eden. Well, Africa is the Garden of Eden, so why are they running? And then they go to Libya. Libya is in Africa too, you know. And when they reach, they go to Libya to get to the Mediterranean, to the Europe. They're selling them like slaves in Libya. Africans. We look at the euphoric part of Africa. You know, we're going back to Africa and the motherland. All of that is good, but I'm telling you now, if you're serious about going to Africa, decide what contribution you intend to make when you get there. And always see your country. St. Kitts Nevis is part of our reparation. You may not believe me. So I am not going to leave here. Next thing when you come back, Chinese got the whole land. You're going to look for the El Dorado out there, and you live in El Dorado. All right, then.
Thank you for your contribution, Miss Henry. You basically dodged my earlier question, but that is fine. That is fine. We're still taking your calls here on Voices. The numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. We have a caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, Mr. Cornelius, again, right? That was a very interesting question that you asked, Mrs. Henry, right? And it seems as if she herself is convinced that bribery and cheating and treating went on.
Because she said it.
She would have made a very good witness in Dr. Drew's case, you know. And actually, that's one of the reasons why it was unfortunate that the DPP intervened in that way, because we really needed to establish some standards in future elections and elections campaign, because I'm sure that even Mrs. Henry would agree that bribery and treating, you know, I always get mixed up with treating and cheating. Maybe they're one and the same, you know. But anyway, but the thing is, everybody, including Mrs. Henry, would agree that it is wrong. It should not happen. That is why there are laws on the books for it. And even though it might be difficult to prove intent, there's a general acceptance that happened. on all sides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so what do you do? According to Mrs. Henry, simply because it happens on both sides, that levels the playing field. It does not. That kind of playing field should not be played on in the first place.
But you know, if I may add something, caller, it is interesting because the comment that was said before did not suggest that everybody is guilty of cheating and bribery.
No, she did say all politicians. I thought I heard her say all politicians. Okay? She didn't single out any, right? Obviously she didn't single out any, but basically saying all politicians, they all did it. You see, and that is the difficulty I have, right? Simply because wrongdoing is wrongdoing, regardless of who do it or when it is done. And the question that I would have liked you to pose to her is, what are we going to do about it? What should we do about it? Do we accept the status quo, or do we put things in place to prevent it from happening in the future? Right? All sides, regardless of which side,
Right.
will have to adhere to certain standards.
I agree.
That is what we should be aiming for, not excusing it and saying, well, they all did it, so that makes it right. It does not make it right. Okay, and that is the difficulty. Next time she calls, ask her about that. What should we do about this? Okay, should we just sit back and enjoy the rides, enjoy the bribes, enjoy the treating, or do we try to enforce the laws that are on the books against it? Okay, that is the question. All right then.
Well, I'm hoping if Miss Henry gets back in, she would be able to answer that question. What do
I
we?
very much doubt she'll answer it, but give it a shot. Okay.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution. We are still taking your calls. It is 22 minutes past the hour of 1. We'll wrap up our program at 1:30. We have a call on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air. Okay, we seem to have lost that call. The numbers to call are 466-0989-762 and 662. Call us and be a part of our program. It is 1:23, and we are still taking your calls. We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Voices.
Mr. Cornelius,
Hi, good afternoon.
I'm back to really give my perspective on Mrs. Henry's last contribution. While I agree that the continent is killed because the West needed the skills, why they selectively chosen us. Look around. Your eyes should be a market. In all spheres of what a civilization would take was done by us. So whether or not we are at the peak of our games in architecture, mathematics, linguistics, philology, you name the very genre of our subjects. We are not to be discriminated because they specifically chosen a selective people to come out. We bought our seeds. The ladies with the cornrow plaits had their seeds in their hair, and that's by certain seeds that are of certain trees that are indigenous to our geographic space. And I'm going to simplify it that when a child is gone to school, and the parent would hope that that child would excel, academically and vocationally. But regardless of what that result, those marks might be when the child come home, the parent is not going to tell the child to stay out. The parents would want to motivate the child and encourage the child even though sometimes some of them are harsh on the child, and say, honey, I love you. Persevere. Next time you'll get it right. So don't tell me that a mother would say, stay out in the rain, stay out in the environment, in the harsh conditions. The mother, as a mother, and Mother's Day is coming up, let me say big up to all our mothers, that mother would want to embrace that child and persevere and work harder so that next time around that child will succeed. That is the perspective of like not discriminating and saying, oh, who must go to Africa and who must not go to Africa, even though the Africans need the skill to rebuild. Once we are taken out of the mindset of who we're not and get in an environment would be conducive to go within and harness who we are, we will find our place on the continent. Because the continent is not discriminating. Your home is your home, regardless of how your home is, and regardless of how unruly your siblings might be. Home is home. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about home. We all at the hard day's work, at the end of the day, we go home, we take off our shoes and relax and go in the couches and breathe some fresh air of relief because you are home. So this getting around and this, you know what I mean, trying to get around the real crux of it. You are listening. The youth are listening to you. We have a responsibility, moral and otherwise, to speak sense because the children who are coming, they were here long before. And they want to be spoken from a mother's and father's perspective with kind things, to uphold them, to give them that impetus, the trust, to redeem us when we're not here no more, and those who are not here, because we are a part of them and them are a part of us, as we say, Ubuntu. So I reject that notion that Africa, yes, I agree that Africa needs skills, but I reject the notion of the selectiveness of it, who to go and who not to go. If someone wants to go, maybe. If you're not doing well here, maybe, whatsoever. You know, the song says it's in the water, it might be in the environment. And so once you get there, you might just find your niche, because all of us were endowed with that niche. Thanks for listening.
And thank you so much, caller, for your contribution. We are at the end of our program for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your calls. Those of you who joined via social media, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. I was your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Until next time, stay safe and continue to have a fantastic Friday. Stay tuned to WinFM 98.9. Have a good Friday.
There is nothing like a mama's love. It's the Mama's Love Mother's Day 3-day weekend sale. Show mama love this weekend at the Halswoods Building Center, St. Kitts, Nevis. And the Furniture and Appliances Showroom and Ashley Furniture